It's like ship or whatever. Ow. Well, at least that's on camera. That's quality. Me being sick is fitting because I'm sick of this shit. This is how little I remember about this, is I'm actually having stuff fed to me and then talking about it, just to make sure that I didn't repress anything. Here goes. Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episodes 3 and 4, because I can't be bothered to do them individually anymore. What happened?
The accidental killing of Sylvie, who followed...
I feel like there's something that I'm missing, but let's just dive right in, shall we? Just like Sylvie did, because anybody who watched this episode, like not even people paying attention, like this counts, I'm counting people who are like vacuuming and cooking and petting their dog, not even really facing the television. All of those people are aware of the fact that it doesn't even look like Sylvie fell. It just looks like Plot killed her. Like if Plot could be a literal ghost and kill somebody because they just need to be dead and they don't have a way of getting there, and they could just be like, and then just die immediately, like just standing still. That's basically what happened, because she's getting swarmed by guards on both sides, which might make you think, oh my God, she's trapped. They're going to capture her. Or if she really doesn't want to be captured, she's going to try to kill herself by like jumping off the ledge. Like, you know what? Like it's sort of like, killing yourself before a walker gets a chance to eat you alive. Like this is the simpler death. This is the easier way out. The fucking castle wall is like up to her hip or something like that. And she's like she's like my height, she's like 5'10". And so it literally looks like she slips on a banana peel and just falls. And she falls from about, 25 feet. And apparently that's lethal. Like, I'm not saying you wouldn't get fucked up, but unless if you just took a header off of it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how that kills you. Not instantaneously, and not the way that she died, because she died with her neck snapped. Like, even if you fell face first, like just flat, like you died in a pool, like you just fell straight down, I don't know how your neck gets snapped. You know what I mean? Like, does the people making this show even understand anatomy anymore? Do you understand the kind of force that it takes to snap your neck? Like, as if, like I snapped it just from falling. It's not even whiplash, you know what I mean? It's not like a car accident where your head got wrapped around the fucking thing. She fell and her neck got snapped, like Dave Bautista just grabbed her face and went brrr, like that. She's dead. And instead of everybody being super shocked by this, Laurent walks over and says something akin to, she had a weak spirit.
Her faith was weak.
Which, by the way, got the first laugh out loud moment from me. Of she just died, and she was like one of your beloved proteges for the longest time, and for presumably as long as this has been going on in France. And she dies, and instead of even shedding a single tear or having 30 solemn seconds of silence for her as her broken body is laying in front of you, you just go, she had a weak spirit.
Her faith was weak.
Tough break, moving on. And then he also, within about 10 seconds, he doesn't even hesitate. He goes, yes, her sacrifice will not be in vain because we will use her for the ceremony. Which I guess leads into the ceremony. What's the next bit?
So Daryl, Isabel, and Falou.
Laurent, and another scene he had given Laurent, I'm just going to use Game of Thrones terms, okay? He gave him some milk of the poppy. And Laurent's like, the kid acts like, bitch, I was born for this. Like, he really does go like, I'm ready for this. Before he even drinks the shit. He's like, are you nervous? And the kid goes, no. And he goes, well, go ahead and drink that.
Drink this.
And he goes, but I don't need it. And he goes, drink it anyway.
It'll relax you.
I feel relaxed.
And drink it anyway.
I don't understand that scene. But moving past it, hey, listen, you guys, stop thinking about it so fucking much. What are you, watching a show?
I know you don't need it. Drink it anyway.
What do you want things to be explained to you? Keep up. Drink the shit. Like, Lasong is like the writers of this show, and we are Laurent, which is, you're just young and innocent and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and all you want is a good show, and they're like, just drink that shit, would you?
I know you don't need it. Drink it anyway.
Just drink it. Don't think about it. Just drink it. I don't want to. Do it anyway. God, I'm good. Ipso facto, ceremony is underway. And basically, this is the ceremony that we had talked about in the last episode, which is they're going to have a walker bite Laurent. He's not going to turn, and then we're going to know that he is the Messiah. And by the way, the caveat is if he's not the Messiah, I guess all of this has been for nothing. Then we should just go back to raping and pillaging and killing and whatever the fuck we want to do, because all of this is bullshit. Not a good plan, as Tony Stark would say.
You've managed to piss off every single one of them.
That was the plan.
Not a great plan.
I'm probably not even going to put like pictures or clips in this. I don't know if I can be bothered. Just go watch the show. Okay? Laurent is staring kind of off into the middle distance, as he is one to do, sober or under the influence of milk of the poppy, and they bring out a zombie. Lasong's like, brothers and sisters, it's time for the ceremony of biting a child to see if he turns into a zombie or not. Bring her out. And they bring out Sylvie, a recently turned zombie and one of Laurent's dearest friends. It makes you wonder, who was in the position to bite him before Sylvie died? Did they demote a different zombie? Was there a different walker of equal importance before Sylvie died? Or did we just feel bad to kill the actress and have her die so unceremoniously? So in a way to appease her and the people at home who liked her, we are giving her like a Sasha death from The Walking Dead. So rather than Sasha just dying in a coffin, do you remember this? When does anybody watch the show anymore? When Sasha took a pill that was meant for Negan that Eugene gave to her, and she died in a coffin, and then Negan didn't know that, and he opened the coffin, and Sasha came out as a walker and nearly bit his face off. Is that what we were going for? Ugh. So Sylvie gets really close to biting Laurent. He seems chill with that. And Daryl steps in, and he goes like, he literally says something like, "Not today, motherfucker." Like, I mean, it's literally like,
Show's over, motherfucker.
ceremony begin. He goes, "Nah, this shit's done." And he just like shoots an arrow and kills the walker. He kills Sylvie again. Which, by the way, I guess they had to reposition her head because her head wasn't backwards. Because remember how her neck snapped? We just don't give a shit. That doesn't matter, okay? At some point when she was unconscious or dead, we just re-snapped it back so that this whole scene could take place. And it's not even like off kilter and like hanging on by a thread. Whatever. Who cares? And then what happens?
So, in Assassin's Creed mode, Daryl goes through a rapid series of stabbing.
Oh, yeah. So I was, my producer in the other room tells me that Daryl then goes full video game, and he just starts slicing and dicing. He's throwing knives. It's hitting people in the head mid-run. He's grabbing the handle while they're falling, pulls it out, stabs that guy in the neck, slits his neck, and then goes right into the gut of some other guy, and then guts him like a fish, and then he takes it and he throws it even further away. And then it somehow kind of like boomerangs back, or he has a musket and he's using it kind of Aikido style, and then he shoots that guy and he's got kind of unlimited shotgun shells, but then the knife is back all of a sudden and he's cutting a different person, and that guy's coming down from the stairs, and then he gets through the stairwell, and then even though he's going through a stairwell and nobody really would know that he went through this stairwell, they come from both sides, and then he just has to give up, and they don't kill him immediately because the show still has to go on because it's called The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, Season 2, The Book of Carol. Then what happens?
So while he stays behind, Isabel and Falou shepherd the drugged out Laurent to the cave.
So I was also just told that Isabel and Falou, Falou's like one of my favorite characters, and I didn't know his name until just now. That just goes to show you what the show is doing right and what the show is doing wrong. Okay? My favorite character is one that they don't give a fuck about, and the character they want you to give a shit about, I couldn't care less.
What do you normally call him?
What do I normally call him?
French Shane.
No, this is the black guy.
Oh, I don't know that you've ever called him anything specific.
I don't think I have called him anything.
I didn't know. I could be pronouncing his name wrong.
No, you said it right.
Okay.
I know that you said it right because now as you say it, I'm remembering the character saying it, but I didn't know that that was his name. So, Falou, my favorite character. Isabel and Falou, they take Laurent to a cave, and Falou is like, stay here with me, and Isabel's like, I'm going to go help Daryl. Anyway. Basically, Daryl and Isabel, they go back to, I don't know, like finish this thing or something. It doesn't really matter. They get captured. They're asking where the kid is. They won't give him up. So what they do is they leave him alone for a second. Daryl and Isabel share kind of a nice moment where she's basically kind of, well, not even kind of, she's straight up telling him that she loves him. He's saying that he will protect her and that he's looking forward to when they get out of here because then they can go back to the States and she can, experience that with him. So they're kind of trauma bonding and at the same time fantasizing about when they are free. Oh, that completely missed the Carol. Yeah, it missed the entire Carol plot, so I'll just go through it, okay? Where are you, bitch? Here we are. Okay, this is the entire Carol side plot from episode 3, sorry. Carol, within 2 seconds of being captured by Madame Genet, is shown around their headquarters, has a conversation with her, runs into French Shane, and somehow, just because it must happen, she goes like, I'm looking for an American, and he goes, Dixon?
Daryl Dixon.
And instead of the next immediate line being, how the flying fuck did you know that? It was something like, yep.
I had him and I let him go.
She just lies and says, like, he's my brother and I'm looking for him. He's the only family I have left.
Daryl Dixon. He's my brother.
And then he caves because Daryl killed his brother, and so he can sympathize with not wanting to give up on looking for your brother. So, yeah, that happens. Carol befriends a gay man. I can't remember his name, but he's a pretty good actor. All these side characters are actually pretty good, and that's kind of unfortunate because they're more interesting in many ways than the main characters. And I hope that some of these actors actually get some work in other shows because they deserve it, but like that Isabel and then this guy, but okay. She befriends this gay guy. They're helping each other out. They have this gay guy's husband. So basically, as they got closer, that gay guy had all the information as to what Carol's going to be up to, where she's going to go, what's her plan to escape, and he will later turn on her because they threatened to kill his husband. Once he dishes on what Carol's plans are, Madame Genet just sits down and talks to Carol. And by the way, this is the part of the episode that blew my fucking mind a little bit, because Carol straight up admits every single thing that I thought in the last episode. The Greenland bullshit, the getting raped by the woman at the Greenland place, like all of it. And all it took was Madame Genet just going, listen, I have saved you, so tell me all of it, all of the truth.
I landed 2 days ago from America. I manipulated an innocent man into letting me fly in his plane under the false pretense of looking for my daughter. We had to stop in Greenland, where he was almost used as a sperm donor, and I was nearly murdered by insane environmentalists.
Okay, well, I went looking for my friend. He came over to France. I don't really know how he got here. I manipulated a guy and tricked him into flying me across the country. We landed in Greenland. He was almost, she said, almost used as a sperm donor, but the only reason it's almost is because both of those women are dead. So she admits that he got raped without saying the word rape. He was almost a sperm donor. It's only almost because she died. Otherwise, he was a sperm donor. Attacked by, what is it, ecologists?
Staying environmentalists.
She is here, and this is the only part that she lies about, is that she is here to kill Daryl. And for whatever reason, Madame Genet seems to have some respect for that.
I came here to kill him.
So Madame Genet is like walking Carol and kind of showing her like, yeah, here's whatever happened. It looks like she's going to help Carol. It's a very strange plot. They also show Madame Genet's rise. And by rise, I mean like a minute and a half worth of her prequel story, her origin story. So they show her and she's a janitor at the Louvre. And she turns psycho because when the world ends, she's protected in the Louvre. And her boyfriend's on the other side of the glass. And like an idiot, unaware of his surroundings and that people are screaming and running in a different direction, he instead stays on the phone with her. And then almost like waits for a walker to bite him in the neck. And then they just devour him alive in front of her. And she just watches because people have done that in The Walking Dead before when they were forced to look in a single direction. But why she voluntarily watches is nuts, even for somebody like her. And I guess it breaks her brain. She goes full Negan, and then somehow she becomes the SS officer of the French. I have no idea. Okay, let's yada yada through this. Anyways, Madame Genet takes Carol to this spot. She has her in her truck, lets her out of Madame Genet's truck. There's a whole herd of people standing there, and Carol's like, what's going to happen? Madame Genet's like, you'll see. And she's like, you're going to help kill your friend. And then just pushes her into this crowd of people that she's about to just mow down and kill. And inject with a serum of that super walker serum. So that they can run and be a faster breed of walker. No, nobody cares. Couldn't care less. Carol goes like this. What? That was pretty good. That was pretty close to how she did it. Huh? You've gots to be joking. And then the episode ends. Episode 4. This episode, like there's certain plot armor makes sense, okay? You're following a main character. Like Daryl having some plot armor makes sense. Carol having this level of plot armor doesn't make sense. And it feels just like lazy writing because they put her in a predicament that is unsurvivable. Unsurvivable. A 50 caliber or a large caliber machine gun is pointed at you in close range. You are standing, doesn't matter if you're 6 people deep or not. They mow everybody down and every single person dies except for Carol. They inject the super serum into all of these walkers and they inject everybody but Carol because it gets stuck in her leather jacket because apparently she's the only one wearing thick clothing. Everybody else is just out there in like, linens and, pastels. I mean, like, what? Everybody has thick clothing on. It's the fucking apocalypse in France, and it's winter. And somehow Carol, with her fucking red leather jacket, it literally just, like, sticks and doesn't even, like, inject or try to inject. Like, listen, you could have had something cool happen. She could have accidentally got injected with it and pulled it out. Like, maybe she survives the gunfire, but she actually does get injected with this super serum thing, and it makes her go fucking Rambo for whatever reason. Like, she goes like Wolverine on the special stuff, you know what I mean? And it gives her, like, super strength for a second, or super adrenaline, or something like that, to where she, like, sprints faster, and even though it's complete 80s schlock, that makes way more fucking sense than her surviving a machine gun turret going off at her from a 50-foot distance and then surviving a needle getting shot into her. So none of this fucking make any sense, dude. This episode.
Meanwhile, Stephanie Codron is brought in, tied to the back of a Jeep as bait.
So now French Shane, whose name is what? Cauldron?
Stephanie Codron.
His name's Stephanie Codron? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I've been watching this show for like a year and a half.
Maybe it's Stephane, which would be ironic that it's like Stephane and Shane.
If that's fucking true. That's like, what is it, Laris? Is a combination of Littlefinger and Varys. So anyways, French Shane. That's French Shane. French Shane gets revealed like, you know, like if you've ever been to a wedding and somebody wants to, or like a birthday party and someone wants to jump out of a cake, and he's strapped to the back of this truck looking like he's in a coffin with the lid off, you know what I mean? And you're like, what? And by the way, he's strapped to a golf cart. Like it's like a Humvee, like a dune buggy. It's like a dune buggy. That's what it is. It's a dune buggy. You're fucking strapped to a golf cart for bait for the super walkers. By the way, hate to break it to you. Yes. I hate to break it to you, but there's actually a whole bunch of living human beings who were firing the guns in the first place, and they are actually in closer proximity than the bait. So they are the bait. I don't know, and there's no debating that. It's what? Huh? Carol gets up after all these walkers are like turning super quick. And by the way, I guess they've just long done away with the fact that some people take forever to turn. Do you remember in season 1? I know that a lot of shit has changed in season 1, but all the way up even to like season 4 and 5 or whatever, like in the prison arc. Remember that nerdy kid who had glasses like mine, and he's like, it's a pleasure. It's like the Jewish kid. He's like, hey, pleasure to meet you, Daryl Dixon. You're my hero. And he gets a case of the vapors and he dies in the shower. And then it takes him like 4 hours to turn. And then he kills everybody at night because everybody's asleep. Now everybody turns in 15 seconds. If that was the case, everybody would be dead. Everybody would be dead. You'd go, oh my God, Mom! Ah! And would just get bit on the face immediately. Like, you know what I mean? Like on the neck and face. 15 seconds is nothing. Nothing. So they turn in like less than that, like 10 seconds. And they're all geeked out. And then they start to run away. And the only thing of like somewhat continuity is a couple of them turn and face Carol because she's alive. And so she just gets up and shoves some of these walkers out of the way with her bare hands, hops in the dune buggy with French Shane, and drives away. Now get this. They're driving away, and these walkers are chasing them. And you're kind of going like, fuck, they're actually pretty fast. Interesting. Okay? This dune buggy would have left them in the dust, but for the sake of the story, they run 50 miles an hour. Okay? Who cares? I'm fine with that. Make walkers scary again. They stop like 100 feet short of a door that we don't even know if it's locked. And for whatever reason, I guess those military people from Madame Genet, they launch like a missile and it blows up. Get this. It blows up the fucking door. It blows up their own people and the door. And then they're able to drive the dune buggy in through the debris, through all the people shooting at them. By the way, this dune buggy doesn't even have glass windows. And every single bullet is hitting off the metal. It's hitting off the pipe. It's hitting off the tire. It's hitting off everything. It misses Carol. It misses this guy who was defenseless, strapped to the back of this dune buggy. They miss both of them because plot must continue. She unhooks him with like a hatchet or something like that. She kills some people who come up with a pistol. So apparently she's got perfect aim even after all this adrenaline and running around, and she's old and she's got osteoporosis and, arthritis probably. She's, but she is outmatching them. They are outgunned and outnumbered by this one fucking old lady. So, you can laugh. I don't care. My producer's also sick. So anyways, they're outmatched by sweet old Carol. Remember Carol? She used to bake the cookies. They're just outmatched by her. These French fucks, I knew it. You baguette-eating motherfuckers. You can't fight this old lady. She lets French Shane loose. He just decides to like take on like 5 walkers by himself. Kind of like Tyrese. He's just like, give me a fucking pistol or a rock and let me handle this. And he's like, go! And she's like, why? She's like us in that moment. She goes, but why? And he goes, tell Dixon I did it for the boy. No, you didn't. It was the last episode that you did this for Carol because she lied to you saying that Daryl was her brother. So you did it for Daryl. And now this you're doing for the boy. Like, pick a fucking character motivation and fucking stick with it. What happened next?
Deeper inside the nest, Isabel is tied to a chair as the song tells her again.
Oh, yeah. You know that mysterious location that Isabel got taken to? It's not so mysterious anymore. It's a part of the nest. And Lasong's like, are you going to be a part of this or not? And somehow, even though her hands are tied behind her back and open, clear as day fucking open, she's got like a can opener lid or something. Luckily, the one thing she has, it's the fucking drain. It's the lid to the drain. Okay, that actually does make sense. That's fine. I'll give you that point back. Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Book of Carol, Season 2, Episode 4. It's the lid. So, but anyways, they can see her fucking hands, right? Presumably, they were leading her by the hands. So okay. Lasong basically goes, you need to get with the program or your ass is dead. And so she waits until he's somewhat distracted and goes for his face and cuts him on the cheek in a spot that will look cool for later scenes. And then he just turns around with like a Bowie knife, like a big knife, and he just stabs her in the gut. And she just falls over and is now dying.
He is surprised by what he has done, so he flees to hide with the others. Carol easily dispatches every soldier that she comes across as a seriously wounded Isabel slowly wanders through the halls and outside into the fighting.
Okay. So I was just informed by my producer that the recap that we are reading described Lasong as just running away. Just a reminder, he literally just murdered a person. And he ran away. What do I know? I'm no doctor. He absconds, so he steals himself. She walks very slowly through hallways, dripping blood everywhere. They act as if that's going to mean something, like a walker's going to follow her. No, nothing happens with that. It's just visually interesting. And by the way, inconsistent, because if she was bleeding that fast, she wouldn't even make it 15 feet, but who cares? None of these people care. As she's walking, she finally gets out to the courtyard, and it just so happens that Carol has finished just going beast mode on every one of these NPCs that she encounters. She just skips the conversation. She just hits X a few times, and then she just knife slits them or stabs them or shoots them, and they're all dead. I want you to imagine you are a French revolutionary soldier at peak health, and you have survived the apocalypse for the last 17 years. And then you are defeated by a woman who doesn't know the area, who doesn't speak the language, and she's 65 years old. Takes my breath away. So Carol and Isabel run into each other. And Carol goes, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Instead of, by the way, how does Carol know not to just murder her? That would have been, what? Why didn't we do that? She finds this woman who's already bleeding to death. She's in the nest. I mean, talk about a fucking fucked up reunion. Imagine like Daryl finds Carol after she just murdered Isabel. Even though she might have been dying already, have Carol murder her in cold blood thinking she's just another fucking nameless, faceless fucking bogey. You know what I mean? That's... Because imagine that. Carol comes to rescue Daryl and she kills his love interest just in cold blood without even thinking twice about it. Because she didn't know. She's being actively fired upon. As far as she can tell, this is another person that she has wounded in the dark and is one of the enemy. What, did Daryl just describe her perfectly? What? Fuck. This is only 15 minutes into the episode, by the way. So Carol's there and Isabel's there and she helps hobble her over to this thing. Freaked out because all of these super walkers have now invaded the nest. This part could be kind of cool for a second. This kid unhooks Daryl and he grabs his cool mace swinging thing and his knife and he's just moving through walkers and people. And it's really confusing because you're kind of going like, how come none of these people are coming at him and walkers are coming at him? It's very strange. Like, you think if walkers were involved, you're just going to side with any humans that are around you. Shoots and maws his way through this stuff, and then guess what? Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Daryl sees Carol standing there. And what happens? He goes, and then they run outside together, and Isabel's there. And she's just like about to die. And Daryl and Isabel kind of have like a Jon Snow and Ygritte moment from Game of Thrones. Like, she's like, we never should have left that cave, Jon Snow. We go back there. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Except Daryl and Isabel had that moment. I still remember the fireflies. Yeah, you can go ahead and see them. We can still see them. No. And then it's basically just over, like whatever the fuck she said. But she told Daryl that she loved him last episode. And they just shared a kiss last episode? 2 episodes ago? So we built it up just to snatch it away. And by the way, Isabel was a fan favorite. Everybody liked that actress. She was very, very good and competent. Made me give a shit a little bit about her story. Now I don't even know what they're going to do with all the side shit about her stuff. Because so much about Laurent is dependent upon her. And now she's gone, so what the fuck about this kid? So she's dead. What happens next?
Carol and Daryl make it to the cave where Laurent is staying with Falou, but they're gone.
Okay. Daryl and Carol are having a stroll. And listen, dude. Them getting to know each other and catching back up makes complete sense. But I'm sorry. There's too much casualness about it. It doesn't matter how in simpatico you are or how much you can pick up right where you left off. You are in a different fucking country. You came all the way here. What the fuck? Okay, like, this should be a whirlwind for both of you. And it's like, this felt like you haven't seen each other for a month. The whole reunion is just so fucking underwhelming. Like, I'm watching these scenes and I'm like, is this season 10 of The Walking Dead? Is this the episode where Daryl fixes his bike and Carol makes rock soup? That's a real episode, you guys. She makes, like, rock soup. I don't care if it's a fucking COVID episode. What, because you have COVID, you can't write? You can laugh. I'm not cutting it out. They have an underwhelming conversation. They get to the cave. Laurent's not there. And once again, the word fuck put in a place that fuck makes sense.
Is that who Isabel was talking
He
about?
was with Falou. He's supposed to meet us here. It's cold. Fuck!
You're supposed to fucking be right here. This is such a dumb fucking thing. This was never said. I feel like I could bet my life on it safely. Maybe I shouldn't. But it was never said, hey, yeah, Laurent, something happened. Just go ahead and leave this Rubik's Cube
He was here.
behind a rock right over here. It never fucking happened. But he can't find them. He can't find Falou. He can't find Laurent. He doesn't bother looking for footprints. He doesn't get on the ground and try to smell his scent. There's like nothing about what he has learned has led to this moment. And he finds a loose rock. He moves it. There's a dusty Rubik's Cube. And he goes, this was in here. He left this for me.
Okay.
He left this for me.
Okay, hey.
Guys, they literally wrote in this script, Laurent has left a Rubik's Cube behind a rock. Daryl finds it and is assured of Laurent's safety. That is somewhere in a script that was written by adults. Since when has a Rubik's Cube meant safety? Since when has hiding a Rubik's Cube been a way to determine safety? I mean, I know the French do everything weird, but not Rubik's Cube behind a stone weird. That's like some Indiana Jones type shit. I'm surprised Daryl didn't have to put a little bag of rocks in equivalent weight to a Rubik's Cube in its place, for fear of arrows coming out of the walls. What happened next?
Meanwhile,
Back at the Batcave. Basically, Madame Genet and Lasong, they kind of come to this weird understanding where she has him tied up and says that she's going to go look for Laurent. And she basically says to his face, listen, if I find the boy, then that means God wanted me to. And Lasong goes, I'm going to borrow something. I never say this. Lasong basically goes, I bet. And so she goes on her merry way. And they don't find Laurent. And they come back and he goes, God must not want, this is God's will, is for you to not find him. So I'm right. Daryl and Carol are off again looking for tracks. They somehow find like Laurent's tracks with Falou. It leads them through this small kind of abandoned town to this old couple. And it is an old woman who's very, very sweet and an old man who's sweet, but it has kind of an edge and something's a little off about him. And basically they're super hospitable to them. They offer to like let them take one of their cars and move parts or whatever just to help them out so they can be in a car instead of being on foot. They spend a little bit of time with them. They do have a funny scene that I actually do like. For whatever reason, this scene should have been in the main show, but it felt eccentric enough. Like it should have been in like London, but in France, I'll take it. The guy's like, oh, I'll help you go look for parts. Let me put on my walking shoes.
Let me get my walking shoes. I can take you.
And it hard cuts. And I'm sure this actor is probably just old or had sprung an ankle or something. And so they had to find a weird way for him to walk in this scene without him walking. So it hard cuts to Daryl and Carol are walking down the street. And Daryl has a wheelbarrow. And the French guy is just sitting in it. And as he is going down the street, he is waving at all of these old walkers, which are just his old dead neighbors. And basically him and this woman say, we don't really kill them because they're harmless. And so out of respect, we just kind of we just chain them up and let them be there. And so he's like, oh, Mrs. Bouton, good to see you. Good to see the kids. And he goes, poor woman lost her mind. You know what's stupid? I like that. That was kind of fun. That almost made me forget how bad this episode was for like 2 seconds. I was like, holy shit, that's kind of funny. Like he goes, and then even Daryl has a funny line where he goes like, oh, I'm really glad he put on his walking shoes. And by the way, they get to where they're going, and they let the guy out of the wheelbarrow, and he can walk fine. And I'm like, that's hilarious. I don't know why. That's just funny to me. Like, that's great. That was really funny. That might be one of the funniest moments in the Walking Dead universe. Let me get my walking shoes. Cut to him in a wheelbarrow getting pushed by Daryl. They get to where they're going, like a mile away, and he gets out and just walks in on his own volition. That's great. I liked that guy way more than I liked like Princess or King Ezekiel, like just way more. Just off the jump, these side characters are great. So, what was it, Dee Dee? What was the guy's name? Theo? So I guess the old couple's name is Dee Dee for the woman and Theo for the man. Carol and Dee Dee are spending time together. They're cooking kind of for Daryl and Theo. During that time, Carol is revealing a little bit about her trauma about, having been married, had a kid, and everything. So she's kind of like telling the truth selectively to certain people and then lying to certain people for whatever reason. Don't really know why. It gains her nothing, but who knows? She finds out that Dee Dee and this guy, although they clearly are a couple, they are not married. That her husband and her were together for like 60 years, and she found Theo during this. And the whole implication is that we're supposed to see them and imagine Daryl and Carol in this exact position. Like maybe Daryl and Carol could be together and grow old with each other, just like these two did. Anyway, they mentioned something about like truffle eggs or something like that. They go to make truffle eggs, which are like a delicacy. They have them. By the way, this Theo guy, he's kind of dropped some hints that over the years, he's like, I've survived all these wars and everything. And basically, he always sided with the winning side. When they were fighting against Germany, he was patriotic and for the French. When the Nazis were an occupying force, he befriended the Nazis. And so in this moment of weakness or something, they're eating these eggs that they made for them. And during that distracted moment, Theo pulls a gun on Daryl and Carol. Because I guess some of Madame Genet's people had inquired about them. Whatever. It's very evocative of what they wanted, which is in Glorious Bastards, the scene where Colonel Hans Landa goes to that French farmer's house and drinks his milk. And they wanted that tense scene. They didn't want to copy it too much, but it's really fucking close. Because instead of milk, they're having eggs. You know, instead of like smoking a pipe, she's like eating his eggs and going, these eggs are still warm. So they're still close. But she really does come in kind of like your basic, like Hans Landa. You're holding enemies of the state, are you not? And the guy's like, no. Older woman, Dee Dee, she kind of stands up against it and she's like, I know who you are. And she's like, really? We've never been out over here before. And she goes, no, I knew it when you people went by a different name. So she's implying that she was against the Nazis. Theo's telling her, shut up, just go with it so that we can survive. She refuses. They kill her. Off screen, but they kill her. Daryl and Carol have to like fight their way out, okay? They have to get to this car. They have to kill some people.
Carol shoots the leader in the back. So she shoots Jenny in the back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I forgot about that. Sorry. Long-winded. Daryl is fighting a lot of the men off. Carol is kind of killing some men, and then she gets kind of stuck and cornered in this house, and Madame Genet basically gets the drop on her. Then Daryl comes through the other side, distracts her, and Carol is able to get the gun from one of these soldiers that has the super serum in it, and shoots Madame Genet in the back, and it starts to work through her face, and it causes like pustules to form, and they kind of burst open, and she just like seizes up, and it basically just kills her. And then everybody's dead. That's the main bad person. What? This is like The Ones Who Live level of stupid, where like two people are able to completely destroy the 3,000 person operation of the CRM. Isn't this woman like Hitler? You know what I mean? Like, even if you killed Hitler, wouldn't there be Goebbels? Wouldn't there be Gerwin? Wouldn't there be, what is it? Hepner or whatever? I can't remember the other guy. But it's like, yeah, wouldn't there be people underneath Hitler who would rise to power? Presumably, but I guess you just killed the big bad of the season. We're in episode 4.
What? What?
I mean, I guess you only have 6 episodes, but fuck. That doesn't even make any sense. You already killed a main character, and now you're killing the main bad character. And the other main character is lost. I mean, some people might go, a lot of shit's happening in this shit, David. You know, this is what I'm talking about. It's action-packed. It's like, no, it's not. It's ill-conceived. If I gave you a perfectly cooked steak with chimichurri sauce, it's medium rare, it's juicy, every single bite is fucking perfect, and at the same time I expected you to eat this huge fucking ice cream sundae at the exact same time, you'd go, well, listen, I really like to savor my steak, and then I like to treat myself with a dessert if I feel up to it, but there is an order to things. I don't really like to eat my dessert with my steak. And they go, no. You're going to eat that steak, but we're going to top it with the ice cream. We're going to put the sundae on it, so you have to have a bite of sundae meat. So you're going to have ice cream steak. That's what this is. It's too much to digest.
And if it sounds like it's too much, then it's too much.
Maybe you're too much.
What?
It would fuck with anybody's stomach. It doesn't matter. This is fucking nonsense. And then they leave. What happens next? Is there anything?
They help bury Dee Dee. And then at the very end of the episode, Lusong is restrained in a prison cell in the nest when one of Genet's soldiers comes in to tell them that the leader has been killed by the Americans.
Now Lusong, because Madame Genet is dead, feels that this is God is on his side, or is on the side of keeping Laurent alive because he's special. He has a bigger purpose, because this big bad that should have easily been able to take him out with all of her resources died in the process, and so did all of her men. Lusong just takes responsibility now, and he goes, everybody, let's join forces. All is forgiven. Even if you were on her side and you wanted me dead, all is forgiven, because now we are all joined with one purpose. Find this kid, because He is going to take us to the promised land. And that is the end of episode 4. Okay, now my fucking opinion. I've been peppering it in throughout this, but fuck this. This reunion has been garbage. It has been absolute garbage. And they know it. They know it. I know that they know it. You know, Norman Reedus has been saying that the finale of this season is just going to be something fucking unworldly and is the best hour of television he thinks that The Walking Dead has ever produced. Listen, I love Norman Reedus, and I love the character Daryl Dixon, and I love the character of Carol Peltier and Melissa McBride as an actress, but I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, but this show just doesn't have it. This show just doesn't have it, man. Like, if this was fucking good, I would be so psyched to talk about this. Do you understand? Most of you don't, because you didn't see how I felt when I watched this show. I was too engrossed in this show to even talk about it, because I didn't want anybody to fuck with my enjoyment of it. But now that we're through the main show and we're into these spinoffs, it's like, dude, it's hard to fucking get through them. It's exhausting. I'm having to combine these 2 episodes. You know why? Because I prioritized my own life and my own career and everything else over doing this. Because it's not worth dumping my fucking heart and soul into this week to week for what? 200 views? If that? For 20 people to give it a thumbs up? And it's like, I know you're probably just going, well, then stop fucking making them. It's like, listen, man. I wanted to review every episode. Norman Reedus fucking follows me on Instagram. He shared my Daryl Dixon stuff. I kind of felt like I had to. Whether he follows me or not, I'm not going to be dishonest, man. If I was having a genuine off-camera, heart-to-heart conversation with him, I'd be like, I love you, dude, but what the fuck? It's like an excuse just to put the suit back on. And there's nothing wrong with that. As an actor, it might be very fucking fun to step into your old shoes or to explore new things with an old character. Teaching an old dog a new trick. But the expression is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And maybe that's an expression because it's fucking true. I really don't believe that The Walking Dead even necessarily has to have some big bad, the governor, or like a Hitler type character. I just don't think it does. Not like this. People by themselves are dangerous. But do they have to have endless resources and like they've conquered France? Because look at what you did. So this person rose to fucking power, has thousands of people working for her, is basically the female French fucking version of fucking Hitler or Mussolini, and they are undone by the pursuit of one child with a 55-year-old man and a 65-year-old woman. I'm sorry, did you even build something that wasn't made out of fucking a deck of cards? It doesn't feel earned. Nothing feels earned. If everything feels rushed, it's like a fucking fever dream. If Daryl wakes up and is in a coma, this whole thing would make sense. That's the only way to fix it. You've got to do the Dallas ending where it's really an autistic kid playing with a snow globe. You know what I mean? Like, this is madness. We haven't even gotten to the end. But I gotta say this just in case if I never get to the end. I'm talking like this because, guy, I don't know if I can do it. They're already talking about being approved for season 3, and I go, how the fuck did you get past season 2? You were still in production of season 2 when you got approved for season 3. And you know what? That makes me even more upset because it makes me go, does that mean that you knew that this season was hot garbage? And the only thing that was going to matter was the finale of this season that leads into the actual story that you wanted to fucking tell next year. But that is the problem with The Walking Dead, is it tells you to just go, wait for it, here it comes, here it comes. It is just edging with no come, okay? With no finish. And that leads to what? Blue balls. Stop blue balling us. Knock it off. It's not worth it. You could have just had a quickie and been done with it. If you're gonna fuck me, at least make it fast and enjoyable. Why drag it out just for both of us to end up being unsatisfied? This is fucking stupid. I would love to see what this script looks like compared to a season 3 script with Daryl and Carol doing anything. I want to see the script to the episode Cherokee Rose. And then I want to see the script recently from this season with a Cherokee Rose in it. And I want to see how they hold up against each other. It's infuriating, dude. And now that Isabella's dead, I mean, like, I just don't know where you're going to go. So what about the ex-boyfriend who's still alive, that British fuck? What, you're going to kill him off and no one's going to give a shit because Isabella's already dead? Does everybody just forget about that? And what about Falou? What about all these other people? Nobody's even alive to fucking miss her. Only the audience gets fucked out of this. And I'm saying this and just on the off chance that Norman Reedus or Melissa McBride, for some reason, you're thumbing through YouTube and you're slumming it. I love both of you, and I am so fucking sorry that this is how this is going. I hope when you're having a private text message or you're calling over the phone because you're worried that someone's going to hack your phone and send out your text messages to AMC or to each other about AMC, I hope that you are apologetic to each other too, because this is not what either of you deserve. This isn't what these characters deserve, and it sure as fuck is not what the audience deserves, and it certainly isn't what we wanted. Not at all. Episode 3 and 4 of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, holy fucking ballsack. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please make me ranting about this even slightly fucking worth it. I'm doing this for you, despite how I feel. But I am doing it for you. It's another episode of The Walking Dead.